is Santiago of MMA Islands. Today we have on Jared Flash Gordon, who really lived up to his nickname, and it was one of his latest videos where he's subdued an attacker with a baseball bat who tried to attack his family. Jared, how's it going today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Can't complain. Just to clarify, this video was a while back in Chicago. Can you just elaborate on what happened in the video to those who haven't watched it?
Yeah, so we just ate at some restaurant. I forget the name of it, some famous old school Italian restaurant. And we're on vacation in Chicago, and I see a car at a drive-through ATM machine. And on the bumper sticker, it says, "I love crack whores." So I was like, that's a great bumper sticker. So I took the camera out and started like filming it, taking pictures and doing videos. And the guy in the car saw me, and like he's at the ATM machine, so he couldn't open his door. So I see him crawling out the passenger side door, and I'm like looking, I'm like, what is he doing? And he goes to his trunk. So I'm thinking, holy shit, what if this guy pulls out a gun or something, or like a machete or something like that. He has a bat, and he's walking over to us like fast. And I'm like, this guy crazy? And then like I got upset because first of all, I'm with my parents. At the time, they were both like 60 years old. And I'm with my cousin and her husband, who was the other guy in the video helping me apprehend the guy. And he's walking towards me, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. Because if you're gonna approach me, even if I was alone, but I'm with my parents who are older and my cousin and her husband, and you like really try to hurt us, I'm gonna try to kill you. But I walked over to him, and he kind of got like, I think he was surprised that I was walking towards him because he had a bat. And I guess he thought like we were just gonna like run away or something. And I grabbed him, and I was like, "Are you fucking joking me right now?" And then my cousin takes out her phone and starts filming. And her husband Ken grabs him also, and like it's funny because people think that like street fighting is like really clean cut. Same with fighting in the cage. Like there's so much more going on, and people are like, "Oh, it took two guys to take that guy down," and it's like, dude, we all have clothes on. There's a baseball bat, so I'm grabbing the bat. My cousin's husband is grabbing the guy, pulling him one way. I'm pulling him the other way. So I was like, Ken, let's just take him down. And we took him down, and like he was holding onto the bat for dear life. Like it was like, he was like clenched as hard as he can. And then we started talking to him, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, oh, did I swing the bat at you? And I'm like, did you? No, but you approached me with a baseball bat. What did you think was going to happen? So then I grabbed the bat, I stepped on his neck, and I ripped the bat out of his hands. He actually fell asleep for a second because I was putting so much pressure on his neck that you could hear in the video he starts snoring. He's like making like for like a brief like second or two, he like went out. And then he asked for his baseball bat back, and I was like, "Are you joking me?" And it took everything in me to not hurt this guy. There was other people there, but that really wasn't it. Like, I didn't want to beat his face in front of my parents. My parents have seen me fight on the street before. We're from New York. I've seen my parents fight on the street, so it's nothing like, it's nothing like new for us to go through this. But like somehow I restrained myself, and it didn't turn bloodier for him. But then recently, and also not too long ago, I posted a video of me fighting in the street, and people were like, "Man, it's so funny, like how people react, like they're professional fighters. Like, oh, you didn't. All these guys can't fight." People are commenting, and I'm like, first of all, I'm not going to punch you in the face with my bare hands in the street, so I'll break my hands. So I grabbed
Mm-hmm.
the guy in the face, and I actually did throw some short uppercuts, but you can't see it from the angle of the camera. And I'm punching him, and then the glass breaks, it falls, and it lands on my hand, and you can see I almost lost my
Well,
fingers.
yeah.
I had stitches. It got badly infected. I had a bad cut across all three of my fingers. I had to go to the hospital, have a plastic surgeon stitch me up. And there's clothes on. The guys, it's not. It's people think it's so easy. Like off camera, I took the guy down like easily, and I was hitting him. But like, people are so funny, especially like people on Instagram. They're like, "Oh, none of these guys can fight." Like, you don't know anything about fighting. You would have thrown a punch, hit the guy in the top of the head, and broke your hand. I was the most experienced person in that situation, and I got injured badly because of the glass that fell. People are just, they're so funny, like how they think like they know shit, and um, but it's everyday life for me. Like I try not to fight in the street because I know where it leads. Like no matter what, you get arrested, and then they figure it out later. I don't need to go to jail for the night. I've been to jail enough. Uh and like I don't fight for free anymore unless I have to. Like I'm not gonna fight someone for nothing on the street. I live in Florida too, and that was in Chicago where that happened with the baseball bat. What if that guy whipped out an AK-47,
Mm-hmm.
Or in Florida, people drive crazy, and every single person carries a gun here. Um, you get out of the street, you get out of your car, and the guy just blows you away, like, or stabs you or something like. It's like, so now that I'm getting older, like the things that I posted, situations that I couldn't not get physical. I had no option. But I try to stay. I'm not that guy that's out there knocking people out in the bar. First of all, I don't drink. I'm not in situations or places like that. The only time that I'll do something like that is if I'm with loved ones like my wife or my family or friends, and I have to stick up for us, or I'm just in a situation where I have no option but to fight it. But yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
oh,
I believe you're.
the public loves seeing that stuff, so I throw it on social media for them.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of love from it, from the MMA community, like your fellow fighters as well. I believe you mentioned that your mom wanted to call the cops. So why didn't you guys call the cops, if I may ask?
Um, we ended the situation fairly easily, and the guy just got back in his car and drove away. And we're on vacation. It's like, all right, we're gonna call the cops, sit here now, wait for the cops to come, write out a report, try to identify the guy. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's true.
Go about our day. No one got hurt. The guy left. We took his baseball bat. Let's just go back to the hotel. If it got like crazy and like people were hurt, it's different. Now you got to call the police, because if you don't call the police and they do, now you look guilty. So we just decided not to. That first
Hmm.
video where the glass, the cops were called, and they came, and they were like, "Look, you want to press charges? It's clear as day that it was self-defense. We see the video. We had the video right. That glass that broke was my buddy's barber shop. So he had all that footage. That footage was from his barber shop. So we showed the cops right in the shop. Look, this is what happened. They're like, all right, if you want to press charges, we have to arrest you too, because you're fighting in the street. So it's up to you." And I'm like, I'll just go to the hospital.
Dang.
Yeah.
I just got to ask, where was Kevin Holland when this happened?
Oh, I don't know. He lives in Texas or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was waiting for him to pop out from behind the tree or something, but it never showed up.
What do you make of him just stopping crimes every now and then? I mean, I believe he stopped like 4 or 5 crimes, shootings, save people from wreckage. What do you make of his vigilanteism, I guess?
I mean, you know what? If you're in a situation or if you're in a place where you can be of assistance, and a guy like Kevin, who's obviously experienced with hand-to-hand combat situations in some form, um, you know, if you could help, you should. People, I see videos all the time where people are getting beat up or robbed, and people are just walking by. I understand. Maybe you're older, maybe you're hurt, maybe you're sick. You can't just put yourself at risk. But if I'm in a situation like that, and I'm gonna intervene. Hopefully, I don't get hurt or killed. But I think good for Kevin, man. Like helping people is saving lives. So good on him.
And recapping that trip to Chicago, how good is the pizza over there? I know my family's moving over there pretty soon. How good is the pizza over there?
I'm from Queens, New York, man. So you don't have to ask me that question. That's not pizza over there. That's casserole. You know.
Dang. Okay.
So and Bilal, is from Chicago, and we always argue, oh, who's got better pizza? I'll never. New York is by far is better than Chicago pizza. So there's that.
Got it. I got to write that down for my family to remember. Going into your next fight, you're fighting Leonardo Santos at UFC over here in August pretty soon. How do you feel about the matchup?
Tough fight. Guy's experienced. He's been around for a long time. He's got lots of combat experience. He's getting a little older. He seems to fade. I'm not banking on that. He's dangerous in the first round always. He seems to always hurt people in the first round. But I think it's a good matchup for me. I think it's a good win for me. I think it's a good name on my resume, and I'm in great shape. I've been training really, really smart and hard, but I've definitely leveled up. And I think, well, I know we're going to see that in the fight, how much I've improved.
And not to look past Santos in any way, but do you think a fight with Paddy Pimblett is going to be like on the horizon after a win later in August, or like you just not really focused on that fight anymore because he's doing his own thing?
I've been thinking about it, obviously, but I don't even want to comment on it until I have my hand raised August 20th.
Got it. And what takeaways could you take away from the last fight against Grant Dawson?
Man, the things that I did, the mistakes that I made, I know not to do. I know not to give him my back. Like turn, I made a full turn and I'm giving up my back. Like this is MMA 101 almost. But I rushed it, and I was doing well on the feet, and at times I had him on the run on the feet, like he didn't want to be there. He kept, he was diving for my legs, which, he found like a loophole almost on me. I think he watched my Selecki fight where, I had my back taken for the first round against a dangerous submission artist like Selecki. I got out, but I think he saw go straight across the belt line with his figure four on the body triangle. So when I would give him my back, it wasn't just a hook. It was right across the belt line, and now he's already got the body lock on me. Now I have to roll, and now he's got my back. But I've made adjustments. I got a sports psychologist, and I'm doing a lot of things where I'm under pressure and I have to make decisions. I have to problem solve and make decision making on the spot while using coordination. And when you're tired and sweaty and you're fighting, you only got a certain amount of time left. You tend to make more mistakes. So I'm working on being a little more calm. Like when Grant went to take me down, I should have just let him take me down, go flat to my back, and work up from there. Instead, I was getting taken down and almost being like a wrestler, trying to go flat to my belly so I don't get pinned. But then he would throw the hooks in, and I was rushing. Oh, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up because I'm doing so well. I'm doing well on the feet. You know, I want to get up and try to hurt him there. And I made the mistake of giving him my back. And I knew going into round one, my cornerman, like, yo, stop giving up your back. What are you doing? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I'm like, all right, I know. And then like, I feel I'm connecting, I'm touching him. And like, he's starting to run and I'm chasing after him. And then he would go after my legs and I'd stuff it. And then he'd go after my legs again. And then, you know, it was good on him, man. He, it was my first submission loss ever in MMA. Never lost by submission as an amateur or as a pro. I never ever got out grappled either like that. But Grant did a great job, and he was persistent, and he did what he had to do. But it helped me a lot. It leveled me up big time. And you know, with this game, man, it's just one fight is all you need to all of a sudden be the next guy in the block, you know. Oh, impressive performance. Here's a huge fight for you. So like I'm right there. Like, you know, I won the last 3 out of 4. And I just fought a guy like Grant Dawson, who is a top 15 guy, I believe, you know. Um, and I leveled up. So I learned a lot, and you know, I won't make that mistake again. And that's it. It's on August 20th. I'm going to show who I am. You know.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait for that, Jared. And you know, just last question. I just want to ask about your grandfather, Salvatore Borello. You know, he used to be a boxer. Can you just talk to me more about his legacy and what it would mean for you to you know to watch him fight like now?
And Grandpa Sal, it's my mom's dad. Uh, Born and raised in Harlem, New York. What's now Spanish Harlem. You know, back then it was just all Italian and Irish. Um, and yeah, he boxed in the 50s, 40s and 50s, late 40s into the early 50s. And he was really good. He was 38-3 as a pro. He had some big fights. He fought in Madison Square Garden a couple times. Uh, Fought all over New York. He fought in New Jersey. He fought a bunch of, you know, savage animals back then. It's like, you know, you're boxing in the 50s. Like, who knows what it was like in the gyms back then. You're in Harlem training. Like, it's crazy to think. And we have a lot of parallels. Me and my grandfather. He actually went away. He got locked up for 8 years for selling heroin.
Oh wow.
And he boxed his whole time in prison. Also, he got locked up in Detroit, which was at the time the largest heroin bust in Detroit history. I actually have an article of it in the Detroit some newspaper from Detroit. It was like $20,000 worth of heroin. At the time, it was the largest heroin bust in Detroit.
Sheesh.
He did 8 years in Michigan for that. He boxed the whole time in prison. I actually have photos of him boxing in prison. And so like, you know, I was a heroin addict. So and I'm a fighter. So we lived like parallel lives. Kind of weird, but he got out and you know, he went back to being like he was like in the, you know, connected guy.
Mm-hmm.
Back to that life, and you know, he got out of it eventually, and he died early though. He died when he was like 71. So I met him, but he died when I was 5. Um, he was like 71 when he died. So it was like 1995. I was like, or 93 or 94. I was like 6 or something. Um, but yeah, it's crazy that we lived like almost parallel lives. But I learned a lot. I don't want to end up like how he ended up. And you know, he died of unhealthy smoking, drinking. Obviously, I'm sober, so that's not going to be in the picture for me. Um, but yeah, great boxer. It's in my blood. My grandmother's cousin. So her first cousin is Jake LaMotta.
Mm-hmm.
her last name is LaMotta. So my second cousin is Jake LaMotta, Raging Bull, who is obviously one of the most notorious boxers that time period. So it's in my blood, man. But 38-3 as a pro, it's quite the freaking record, dude. I already have more losses than him,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
different times, different sport. But here I am, man.
Incredible story, man. And the Gordon legacy is going to live on August 20th. Do you have anything to say to the fans out there watching before we close this one out?
Just tune in. It's going to be a good one.